Hi, this is Kaushik Ranchod here. Welcome to your immigration show. Today what we're going to be talking about is how the Trump administration lost against the Supreme Court in some cases, what the Supreme Court ruling with DACA means to you, and why this matters. You're going to want to watch this video if you're on DACA, if your DACA was renewed, if you need to renew your DACA, or you think you might be eligible. And stay till the very end, because we're going to also talk about whether or not DACA could lead to citizenship. Now let's give you some history here and then get into the details of what all this means. On June 18th, 2020, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that DHS's decision to rescind DACA was arbitrary and capricious. So what does this mean? Well, basically, this means that you can right now apply for DACA, and we're gonna get into the details. And let's look at the history here. Why did this all happen? Well, on September 5th, 2017, the Trump administration tried to rescind DACA. Then all these lawsuits were filed based off of the decision. And what happened was there was something called injunctive relief. What that means basically is that DACA was allowed to continue, in some parts allowing for renewal applications. And then that's why it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. What this ruling did was blocked Trump's ability to rescind DACA. Turning to the merits, the majority ruled that DHS's rescission violated the APA as arbitrary and capricious because the agency failed to consider important aspects of the problem before the agency. In the Supreme Court decision, the court found that DHS failed to address considerable factors here. So one of the important facts here was that people relied on DACA's families relied on it. The people who were on DACA relied on it. Companies relied on DACA. And that was part of the decision as well, is that the fact that people were relying on DACA, the Dreamers' families were relying on DACA. And the Supreme Court also put that into consideration. They also found that the agency failed to provide a reasoned explanation for its action, and that was another reason as well. Now, what's important to note in all of this is that DHS could come back and come up and cure what the Supreme Court said was wrong with how they came up with rescinding DACA. So it's up to be seen on whether or not the administration is going to do that now. They're going to do it later. When they're going to do that, we don't know. But what this means for you now is that you are able to apply for DACA until they come out with some kind of policy. Now, the drama increases here, because what happened is then the federal court recently came out with a ruling saying that the DHS, USCIS must accept applications, because after the Supreme Court ruling, people were submitting applications and they were getting rejected. That doesn't seem too fair, right? Well, that's why the federal court said, you got to accept applications. You need to come out with public guidance on how you're going to administer applications. And so that's basically the lay of the land right now as it is. So what happens if you are on DACA? Well, when you're allowed to normally renew DACA, you're allowed to renew. If your DACA is expired, it's been less than a year, you can file for a renewal. If it's been more than a year, you need to file for a new DACA. What about advanced parole? Let's put it this way. You're able to apply for advanced parole now. Whether or not you should travel on advanced parole, you want to carefully consider whether or not you should travel because of COVID, all the travel restrictions. You want to take that carefully into consideration. Now, if you've never filed for DACA, what about if you've never filed for DACA? Should you apply for DACA? You are allowed to apply for DACA right now. Again, DHS could come out with something basically saying that they're no longer going to allow for DACA. But what has happened is also a little crazy here, because yes, DHS could come out with something rescinding it. Then Trump is also telling a news reporter that he's going to create a path to citizenship for DACA holders. So there's a lot of contradictions going on here, because Trump basically said, oh yes, I want to try to take away DACA in 2017. Goes all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that right now unless you have a better reason. And then now he's telling a reporter that he wants to create a path to citizenship. In that statement, he said this doesn't include amnesty. It's going to be a merits-based program. What does that mean? He said he's going to tell us in about 4 weeks. We'll see whether or not this is true, because everything he said before that has contradicted what he's done in the past. So honestly, I don't know if this is true or not until we see it. So I'll believe it when we see it. I mean, it would be amazing if he did actually provide a path to citizenship. So the Supreme Court ruling was a victory, and let's celebrate. Yahoo! Because we don't celebrate enough. We hear all this bad, crappy news about immigration, especially with Trump. But yes, it was a victory. You can apply for DACA. You can renew your DACA. And those are the options. You want to talk to an attorney to see whether or not you should do that. But let's just celebrate the good news, because positive things are happening every day. You're amazing for tuning into this video to try to better yourself. And I invite you to call us at 916-613-3553 if you have more questions. Do me a favor, smash the like button and post a comment if you have questions. Subscribe to keep informed. Thank you. Have an amazing day.